Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I want to say that these videos are for entertainment purposes only. I'm not trying to be an expert in nothing I talk about. These are just my personal opinions, my personal thoughts and feelings that I have about various subjects of the world and the universe. So today I want to talk about duality and the duality of the universe. It's always been something that fascinated me, and it's just something that I think about a lot, and something that makes a lot of logical sense, and it's something that I just enjoy talking about. Let me slide this over. Trying to get this lighting. That's gonna have to work. So yeah, duality of the universe. Everything comes in pairs. There's a up, there's a down, there's a left, there's a right. Yes, no, light, dark, day, night, life, death. One cannot exist without the other. How could you know the joy of happiness if you don't have the sorrow of pain to compare it with? So, if one concept doesn't exist, the other one can exist. That's what I believe, and I try to live my life that way. With every good thing that happens, a bad thing also occurs. I use a lot of personal experience in these videos, and one of the things that always teach me about this dualistic universe is when something happens to me that I perceive as bad, it takes a little while for me to realize that, it was actually a good thing that helped me evolve into a more complete individual. And, the most recent thing is my recent firing. When it happened, it was terrible. I was hurt. It was painful. It was totally unexpected. And I was crushed. And it was a blow to me. But in less than a week, I realized that, it was the universe pushing me towards something better. And that the only way for it to do that is to make something abrupt happen in my life. Blink of an eye. And that's what it did. And I don't think there was any other way that I could develop the confidence and the determination that I have to become a successful and published writer. The only way that I could have realized this is if I let go of my everyday 9-to-5 job that left me exhausted, with no motivation to do anything else. So when it happened, it was terrible. It was bad. I hated it. I hated everybody that worked there. I hated the person that got me fired. And I was going to make plans to exact my revenge, I guess. But I didn't. It took me a couple of days to understand that this is what I needed. So the bad thing of me losing my job brought forth the good thing, self-confidence and motivation, expectation that I have for myself now. I have a lot of time available to devote to my writing, and that's what I've been doing. So yeah, with every bad thing, there's a good thing. Also, there is no such thing as a bad thing or a good thing. There just is. I said it before that the most terrible thing that a person can do in their mind when they're doing it is the best thing that they can do. It's the best option for them. So in their mind, it's their reality, regardless of what we think. So in that aspect, everything just is. In their mind, it's good. In our mind, it's bad. It just is. So yeah, there's up and down. These videos are spur of the moment. I usually don't know what I'm gonna talk about until I hit record on the phone, and that's kind of what happened today. So I'm going off the cuff. I don't really plan these videos out. It's whatever the universe brings into my consciousness is what I decide to talk about. and the duality of the universe is something that it was been on my mind a lot the past few days. So getting down to the quantum mechanics and quantum physics part of it, a lot of tests and experiments have shown that every single particle of the universe has a twin particle, and when you alter the one point, the other particle, regardless of where it is, also reacts. I won't get into the specifics with it because it's highly technical, but just know that let's see, what's an example that I can give? Let's say that you have a long rope, you're holding one end of the rope, and miles away someone else is holding the end of the rope. When you do the rope like this, it's going to affect the other part of that rope, but it might take time. What quantum mechanics tells us is that there's no time delay, that those things are spontaneous. So I've come to my own conclusion that when bad things occur, there's a good thing right there with it. We just have to open our minds to see it, and that's the hard part of it. When something bad happens to us, or something that we classify as bad happens to us in our life, it's the only thing we see. We can't see past it because, we as humans, we don't like to be hurt. We don't like to feel the negative emotions. We tend to ignore them, push them aside, and they usually come out and accumulate and build up and come out in terrible ways. And I pride myself for not giving in to the dark place that was coming for me when I got fired. I'm proud of myself for not getting bogged down by it. I was in a state of hate for a few days, but it went away. It went away quicker than I think something like that ever has for me. I had a tendency to let things linger. I hold grudges. I brood. It takes a while for me to get over stuff. But that instance, I got over it rather quickly. I came to a quick realization that, I'm not meant for corporate life. My personality does not suit it. I cannot function for long periods of time with it. I was at that job for 3 years, and that's a long time for me. And, I had to suppress so much of my personality. I had to be what they wanted me to be, and I just couldn't. So I lost the job. And, I don't know how many times the universe has to slap me across the face for me to realize that I need to be doing something else. And, I think this is it. I think this is the last time that I'm going to allow myself to be something that other people want me to be instead of being what I know I can be inside of myself. So that's what I'm doing now. That's what my hopes of accomplishment will bring me. And getting back to the dualistic aspect of the universe, there was something specific that I wanted to say about it, but it's not entering my mind right now, which tells me it's not the time for me to talk about it. So yeah, up and down, left and right, light and dark, life and death. One cannot exist without the other. It'll be logically impossible. So yeah, when something bad happens or something that's not favorable occurs, acknowledge it, live in it, and accept it, and just know that there's something that's coming along with it. Energy does not disappear; it's only replaced, and it doesn't go away. It either turns into something else, and has a different purpose, but it doesn't disappear. And we as humans, we don't like to dwell on the bad stuff, but let something happen to us. Let something great or fun take place, and we're gonna grab onto that and we're gonna hold it for as long as we can. And that also is unhealthy because it leaves you blinded to reality. If you stay focused on one thing that happens to you, you're gonna miss everything else that happens because you're so focused on the one thing that's happening to you now. Yes, we should live in the moment and experience what's happening to us now, but we should not let it become us and linger. You know what I'm saying? We have to experience stuff and let it go so that we can bring in the next experience. And I'm working on that, and I'm getting better at it. And yeah. So dual universe, nothing happens without a cause. Nothing happens just because. There's a cause and effect. One thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. Every single decision that you made leads up to this point. Okay, so yeah, I know what I wanted to talk about. Dualistic universe. It brings in the concept of free will. It's very difficult. I'm gonna get into more detail of free will in another video. I'm gonna just touch on it now because the dualistic decision making that free will brings into you. Okay, so let's say you have a decision. Okay, you can either make this choice or make this choice. Okay, so free will wants to tell us that we can make any choice we want. Now, for that to be a possibility, both results would have to exist already, or else a choice could not be made. So let's say you choose to go this route. Okay, so obviously that route exists because that is the choice you made. And it has to exist because that's the current timeline that you're in. But let's say you make this choice and you go this way. Well, then that choice also has to exist as you're on that timeline as well. So in order for a choice to be made, both possibilities have to already exist. So let's say you choose one way. How do you know that? Okay, so let's say you got two choices, right? You make one choice. Like, how do you know that you made that choice? Like, how do you know that you consciously made that choice and decided to go that way? Why didn't you decide to go that way? Is it even possible that you could have went that way? Because the concept of time tells us that time moves forward, and if you believe in free will, you believe that you actually made a choice. But a lot of proponents of quantum theories and all of this suggest that free will does not exist. That you are going to make a choice based on the life experiences that led you up to that point. You're not really making a choice. You're only making you're only making a logical decision based on where your life has taken you. And that created inside of me a cognitive dissonance, whereas I can't understand it because I can either go this way or this way. Okay, I want to go this way. I choose to go this way. Did I choose to go this way? I chose to go this way, so I'm in this universe. But in order for the choice to be made, this universe has to exist as well. Like, they both have to be there, or else there couldn't be the concept of a choice. I don't know if I'm getting it across clearly, but it kind of drives me insane because they try to tell you that everything you do leads up to a specific point, which would mean that fate is real. and that free will does not exist. You know, I like to feel like I'm making the choices myself, and if free will does exist, that would mean that there are an infinite amount of parallel universes, because for free will to exist, both sides, each choice has to exist all the time. So let's say I go this way, then I'm in this parallel universe, and every decision I make after that creates more parallel universes. And let's say I go here, I'm in a different parallel universe, and the choices I make there create other parallel universes, which branch off into infinity. So that tells me, in order for free will to exist, there are an infinite amount of parallel universes, infinite amount, like mind-boggling amount. Every single decision you make creates a parallel universe. Every tiny decision you make. That's the conclusion I come up with for free will to exist. You know, how can you be presented with a decision and have the free will to choose a direction if both don't exist already? Because what if you pick the one that's not on your timeline? Like, where are you? And if that occurs, that means free will does not exist, and we are all on a timeline governed by our own fate of preconceived life given to us by our creators. Which one is real? Who knows? They're both fascinating. So yeah, that's the dualistic thing I wanted to talk about. It's really, really fascinating. Really, you know, I'm a huge nerd, and stuff like that just excites me. So yeah, I'll do a video on that one. I'll do a video on the concept of free will. I'll get into more detail with it. I'll probably do a video about the dualistic hemispheres of the brain, which literally houses two separate people with separate personalities inside of one body. The left hemisphere brain is different. The right hemisphere brain does different stuff. And studies and experiments in quantum mechanics and physics have shown that each side can make different decisions and has different agendas, and that in itself is mind-blowing. And I'll get into great detail in that later in a different video. That's spectacular to think about, and it actually makes sense, because I'm sure there are times where you think about stuff and you do stuff and you're like, who in the freak, who in the just did that? And it was you. It was the other side of your brain. Okay, I ain't gonna get to that now. So that's it. Dualistic universe. Up, down, back and forth, left, right, light, dark, light, death. Everything comes in twos. It's the nature of this universe. And once you get a grasp on that, you'll be able to live through bad stuff that happens, because you know there's a good thing coming right around the corner. Alright, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to do these every day if I can.